So today I want to talk about how I use the $7,500 EV tax credit for my 2023 Tesla Model Y on TurboTax. So I've been doing my own taxes. For those who don't know, I've been doing my own taxes on TurboTax since 2000 and I believe 17. So it's been about what is that, 7 years now that I've been doing my own taxes, and that surprises a lot of people because I own a lot of real estate. Um, I own 90 units of real estate. I have multiple single member LLCs that I own. I started some side hustles with Amazon drop shipping. I own a pharmacy. Um, so despite all that, I did all my taxes. And what I will preface is that it gets easier and easier the more you do it. Like the first time you do your taxes, it's gonna be challenging. But back then in 2017, my tax returns weren't as complicated, right? I might have owned just my job, and then I owned one house, and then eventually I owned two, three, four, five, six, seven houses. Whether you own one house or you own a lot of houses, like using TurboTax is the same. And then I had to learn how to do my business, right? At the end of the day, it's just income and expense. And then what write-offs you want to do, it walks you up pretty well. But this is the first year that, I got an electric vehicle. And actually, first year I've owned a new car, to be honest. Most of my cars were always used. But for the EV tax credit, so, when you're doing your personal return, there's a section where, hey, did you buy an energy efficient vehicle that you want to write off in 2023? So when you see that question, I just answer yes. And it takes you to the next page. And then in the next page, it's going to ask you, actually, TurboTax is nice. They'll say, hey, like based on your W-2 income, you're single, you made over $150,000, you actually don't qualify in 2023 for the federal tax credit of $700 because you have to make less than 150K as single, right? But it says, oh, but do you want to look at your 2022 income to see if you qualify? Because as long as if you bought the car in 2023, you can use your 2023 tax return or your 2022 tax return, whatever is less. So in 2023, I made over 150K. In 2022, because I was laid off for a couple months, I made less than 150K, right? I think it was a little bit under 100,000, which is what I made in 2022. So it would say, okay, punch in your information from 2022, how much you made. Tell you like which line you input. But because I used TurboTax in 2022, they know that, okay, it pre-populated information for me. But if you didn't do it, you just pull up your tax return. It'll say line number, your income line, I think it was number 11, and then you put that in, and then you hit continue, and it says, great, you qualify, right? And at this point, it's going to ask for your car information. So it's going to ask, okay, what's your VIN number on your car? So if you have a Tesla, you just go on the Tesla app, scroll to the bottom, you'll see your VIN number. Easy. Next one says, okay, what's your car? Select your cars. I put Tesla, and then Model Y, and then it asks you, okay, when did you buy this? So, I bought mine December 8th, 2023. So you put all the information in there, and then from there, it's going to say, okay, the federal tax credit limit is $7,500, $0 to $7,500, and it depends on your car, your make, your year. And then, it's kind of confusing, but it basically lists all this criteria to see how the car qualifies for the $7,500 tax credit. Tesla was upfront about it. They told me that, hey, the model that you're buying qualifies for $7,500 tax credit. But me, I like to trust but verify. So on TurboTax, it'll give you from there. You click on this link, and if you want me to do it and give more guidance, I'm happy to record myself doing TurboTax to show you step by step on how I went through each step and how I inputted the $700 tax credit and how I looked through it. Because I'm just describing it here right now. But I'm happy to do that if you're interested. Please put a comment down below if you want me to do that step-by-step tutorial. But you click on this link saying, okay, does your car qualify? You click on it, or how much your car qualifies for. You click on the link, and then you filter it. Okay, you put your model in Tesla, and then once you scroll down, you'll just see like all the Tesla, right? So mine is a Tesla Model Y in 2023 with it's the rear-wheel drive and standard range. So I clicked on it, scrolled down to it, and it said, you qualify for $7,500. Great, Tesla didn't lie to me, right? So from there, you go back to TurboTax, you input $7,500, you hit continue, and then at that point, it's going to ask you, well, did you use this car for like business purposes? In this case, I just put no. I do drive my Tesla for like to my rental properties, so if I do drive my Tesla to a rental property, I can write off those miles for the rental property. So let's just say I drive 50 miles for to one of my rental properties, and I think it's like 63 cents per mile that you can write off. So you just take 63 cents times 50 miles for your drive, and that's how much you can write off for your rental property, right? And it has to be believable, because I use this car for personal use too. But if, let's just say, I bought this car under an S corporation, and let's just say my coaching business, my mentorship business, my YouTube business does well, and I get an S corp, I could put this car under my S corp, and then I could do a depreciation of this car. So it's a Section 179. They'll ask you, like, do you want to do a Section 179 depreciation? You can click yes, and they'll say that what percent of your car is used for business. So you can say 100% of a car is for business. Let's say you have a car for business and you have a car for personal use. It's more believable. But if you only have one car, like me, then you have to be very reasonable. So you can say, like, okay, well, this car is maybe 10% for business, and then 90% for personal use. So what that allows you to do is, if, let's say, you bought your car for $50,000, you can depreciate up to 10% of 50,000, which would be 5,000. And they might let you, out of that 5,000, maybe you can do half you can depreciate now, and half you can depreciate next year, right? Like, I'm making it up, don't know specifics, but it walks you through it. So it'll ask you, is it used for business? If you click yes, it'll say what percent is used for business. I would say be very reasonable about it. It has to make sense, right? Let's say I only drive to my rental property once a week or once a month, then, in that case, it might only be like 5-10%. Right? Or if, like, let's just say you're a realtor and you're constantly driving your car to houses to show clients, in that case you might drive majority. So just try to eyeball it, right? Like, you don't abuse it. Like, if you think it's like 50-50, then put 50% business, 50% personal use. And then if you bought your car for 50,000, you can write off 250K maximum on the car, and that's probably spread out over a couple years based on that. So for me, I put no, because I don't really use it for business use. And then it hits great, and then you just hit continue, and then right there you can see at the top, oh, I'm getting $700 in tax credit, right? So it's nice. So I can use that tax credit to pay for all my LLCs and pay the franchise tax board in California, because in California, for every LLC that you own, and I own 6, you have to pay the franchise tax board $800 a year. It doesn't matter if your rental property is in Oklahoma. It doesn't matter if it's in Alabama. The fact that you yourself are in California, like me, I'm in California, but I own rentals in Oklahoma, Alabama. They don't care. I have to pay the franchise tax board $800 a year, so I have to register that LLC. Even though it's in Alabama, it's a foreign LLC in the California franchise tax board, so I can pay for these LLCs online, which is easier versus mailing a hard copy check, which is I've been doing for the past couple of years. So hopefully this gave you value on how to do your energy efficient vehicle tax, federal tax rebate. It was nice to see that I got $7,500. So I can use that money to pay down my car, which I bought for about $47,000 all in, taxes and delivery. So with this tax credit, it lowers me down to about $40,000. And I got this car $3,000 off as well, so it's $37,000. And then it was very nice savings for me, and I get free supercharging because I'm charging right now. So hopefully you got value from this. Let me know if you want to do a full video of me filming myself doing TurboTax, and to give you more value, to show you step-by-step process for that, for those of you doing TurboTax. And let me know if you have any comments or questions down below, and hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much.